Hello again and thanks for joining. Today I've got a Roco wagon to have a look at, but actually when I say wagon, it's actually more truck than wagon. This is a model of a really interesting concept that the Swiss Railways tried with this Kombirail setup in an attempt to put more road traffic onto the rails. I'll tell you a bit more about that as we go through the review. This model is number 1903 in the Roco range and it comes in a really unusual box. I've not seen another Roco model in this style of box before. You can see that this one comes with some extras in there. It is a second-hand model though, but we'll see what it's like. Let's get this open and we'll check it out. So this is certainly an interesting and unusual railway wagon to have a look at. Lots of extras in this packaging. We've got a leaflet here which talks about the Kombirail wagon. It's got all these extra parts you can fit into the trailers, and it shows you how to fit the extra parts onto the bogies as well, and an illustration down the bottom of how this should look behind a locomotive. There's also this drawing up here showing how this was put together into a train, and it seems to be that we can have different wheels and couplings as well. Usual packing slip. And then we've got all these little extra parts that we can add on with the printing on it for these little information panels. They look really good. The printing on them is absolutely superb. We have these extra parts as well, and another bag of extra parts. I think these are actually the crash bars and extra bits and pieces for the trailers. So this is certainly unusual, isn't it? We've got two bogies at each end here and one in the middle, which attaches to these trailers, and together this constitutes the railway wagon. It's very free rolling, this setup here on these metal wheels, and you can see that the trailer wheels are actually up off the ground. But let me see if I can take this apart and we'll have a closer look at each of the trailers and the other parts that we get in this model. Well, certainly not easy to get apart, but I've managed it after a little bit of pulling and pushing. We've got two trailers here which look almost identical except for the printing on them and the colour, and we've got these railway parts here, two end pieces and one centre piece here. So let's have a look at these closer up. We'll start with one of the end pieces. It's quite a simple moulding, this one. We've got the top part here in this dark brown colour. Nice little handrail there, and it looks like we have separate buffers fitted to this as well. Not a wealth of detail on here, but we did have those extra parts in the packaging that we can add on to here to give it a bit more character. The darker brown part here has got some good spring detail and a nice representation of the bogie, along with brake gear which is very close to the wheels. That's another separate part that's been fitted in. We have a coupling here also in an end pocket, and the wheels are pretty free rolling and a nice burnished colour. The coupling does cantilever and it also has a little spring in there as well. The centre part is very similar, but it obviously doesn't have a coupling, and the top part is slightly different so that it can accommodate two kingpins here. So turning our attention to the trailers, this one here, Kombirail in a bright yellow colour and the red chassis. It's quite a heavy trailer this. It features a 6-wheel setup with really nice detail on the wheels and the tyres. We have a spare tyre under here and lots of other parts on the bracing on the bottom of this trailer. There's also a set of optional landing gear here in the extra parts bag that you can fit if you want to have this on the side of the railway rather than actually on the wagon itself. This is a connector for if it had a tractor unit, however it's this part here which fits into the little bogie, and at the end we've got another one here. Some detail at the back of the trailer here, some of the brackets and the locking mechanism, but it's not that well detailed really. But what is really good is the printing on the side of this wagon. It is very clear and it doesn't have any fuzziness either. This one is a second-hand model, so it does have some scratches going across here and a little bit of dirt as well. But the actual printing and the logos are very clear on this, and even extends around the end of these trailers. The other one is moulded in white and it has a Migros or Migros maybe logo up here with a kingfisher. That is really well done. It's a really good printing job done there. Even on the roof as well with the kingfisher flying. It's really quite good. You can see the SBB cargo logo here with the Kombirail, and at the end of the trailer it's got all the logos printed there again. And at the back we've also got the kingfisher again with the Migros logo and some other bits and pieces they are printed on. This is definitely the more attractive of the two trailers with a grey underside. Other than that it's just exactly the same. But I did mention at the start of this episode that there were some problems with this setup, and that's because of these trailers. As you see, these slot into the railway wagons and there's nothing actually between the bogies, so therefore the whole weight of the train is transmitted through the trailer of the truck. That needed the extra bracing put into these trailers, which of course adds to the weight and reduces the payload as well. So therefore you'd be running the same truck and trailer combination, but you'd be unable to carry as much payload in that truck. so therefore it was just commercially a bit of a flop. It was a good experiment, I suppose, but it's really interesting that Roco have decided to model this. Let's get all this on the scales and we'll see how much it weighs. So these parts come in at 183 grams. So the Kombirail wagon setup is really quite an interesting thing to have. It's such an unusual prototype and quite rare as well, and Roco have made quite a good representation of it here. It would certainly look very interesting on your model railway, and as part of an intermodal train would absolutely look fantastic. The trailers are so bright and colourful that it's really eye-catching, and the fact there's no bed actually under those wheels make it look really quite interesting when it's on the track. It is quite a long model, but you can actually shorten this by removing one of the trailers if you need to, and just running it as a single unit. But it is ideally suited for modern image railways, and as such it's a fantastic model to add to your collection. Something a bit different, very eye-catching, and actually pretty cool as well. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this model. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps this channel grow. I'll put a shortened version of this on the turntable so you can see all the way around. This long one just won't fit. And in a moment, another video will appear. Just click on that and I'll see you there. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. See ya.